No, it's not 2018, but it's Puckett, Uber, and Jake on your screen, and this is not Overwatch. It's a new game called Deadlock. We have 60 seconds to plug the fact that we have a very special gifter who is going to head to match up to 100 subs over on twitch.tv/Deadlock Night Shift. Jake, we're up to 59. We got 40 seconds left.
Double impact gifteds. We're trying to get it to 1,000 gifted here, or 1,000 subs total. 1,000 gifted would be great, but 1,000 subs total.
Wait, you gonna wear a cat
to mark
suit,
our
Jake?
10th show. Look, we missed that goal. That was like a month ago, bro.
I still see it on the channel though. So that's false
like
advertising.
This is lies. I'm being slandered.
The secret donor is no alias. No alias. How do I pronounce? Secret donor has revealed themselves. No alias.
No alias, and he has been a good friend and someone I've known since the Heroes of the Storm days. Torturing me with Gazlo challenges in the best way, but super happy to see him around a Deadlock stream. Always enjoyed his presence back in the day.
Deadlock
How many bodies does ZP have in his basement? No alias. We guessed 3, but only one was human.
Does that make it worse or better?
I think it does, honestly. But I'm a misanthropist, so it really depends on who you ask.
Listen, the aliens invaded Minnesota first. That's how it works around here. We got a big matchup to talk about. I'm told, Puckett, talk about what we have in store. It's Sneaky Golems. That's the new Hydra Nation Sneaky Golem combo. Remember, they made Hydra Nation blow up despite winning Week 8. Now Hydration and friends will be playing the melee creeps who just took care of business. They showcased some fun. We're about to see some more. Does this NA battle go to a Game 3, Jake?
I do think this one's going to be hotly contested. Whether or not it goes to Game 3, I mean, I think that comes down to these small details. With the teams as good as they are here, it's like you make one little mistake, as good as you are as a team, you make one mistake that precipitates a bad team fight, a bad mid boss, and the other team might well take that advantage and just run with it all the way to the patron. So you've got to play so clean, but at the same time, there's a lot of pressure to generate those little advantages, to push that risk just a little bit further. I think that's what makes this Deadlock so much fun right now.
It's a best of 3. Here we go. Let's take a look at our roster. Saya, Scout, John, Lord, NM, DMB, and Fishcake. If there's anyone who wants to win this match on this melee creep squad, it's Lord NM. He was BMing. They were talking back and forth. He was the victim of the final word fight. Can he walk away with the W? Is his favorite character Lash even good in the meta, Jake?
Lash is interesting. I think it's good, but you can't force it every game. It needs the right conditions. It needs the right sort of a match to set up for it to be truly effective. And I also think, at this level of play, people are so good at counterspelling the ulti and, being able to shut him down with various stuns and control skills. Unlike Pocket and Mina, who have insane mobility, they also have some very, very hard escapes. If you get on top of Lash and you start locking him down with CC, he is basically dead. Usually it's going to be really tough to play your way out of those because you don't have a way to purge that silence or block that damage or truly hard escape other than just insane mobility. So we'll see. Melee creeps, though, I don't think they're worried about any one pick, right? You come into this drafting mode and you need to have flexibility, but we've seen from them week after week from all these players that they have that in spades.
Uber, you see what I see?
What do you see?
Good night, Deadlock, dropping 10 gifted on our noggin at the buzzer.
At the buzzer, baby.
Incredible stuff from the Deadlock community.
Let's go, dude. Thanks so much, guys. Your support's been incredible. We are pumping the subs out. So thank you so much. For 871 by my reckoning. So that is awesome, guys. Thank you. And just, we're glad to have you here. Intel obviously supported the prize pool, but you're helping us keep the lights on here at Night Shift as well. It's not just us. There's a ton of people in the back rooms that are actually making this show happen. And frankly, making this show look better than a lot of professional, corporate production outfits. So I just want to give a shout out to everyone behind it here. We're kind of outdoing the OGs out there in the esports world. So thank you for your support.
Well, the OGs are just doing it for ourselves now instead of for the man.
Instead of letting TV
we don't need the man.
Decide.
We're like a bunch of little kids who are just getting shit done. Jake, incredible stuff here. Shout out to our 74 new subs on the channel. Thanks to No List. Thank you very much for supporting ZP throughout his entire career. And big shout out to ZP, who has been done with his session for an hour and a half and is waiting for the graveyard shift with hydration. Speaking of hydration, he's about to take the stage and we are about to introduce his squad. Let's take a look here at the Sneaky Golems League. Hydration, Rocker, AVG, Goober, and Rokane. But what everyone needs to know is this is Rocker's team. He's the IGL. He's the shot caller, Jake.
Look, in every junkyard, there's one big mean dog, and that's Sneaky Golem right here in North America, ready to take it to their opposition. They look very solid in their last outing. You know, they lost map 1, I believe, last week, and then the clapback was immediate. They turned it on. They leveled up in that next two games rather, and just kind of blew Melee Creeps out of the water. I think Melee Creeps are going to be smarting from that one. They're going to want to come back and make this a tougher fight, maybe one that they can actually win. Especially, I mean, I think all the teams are starting to look ahead now to that Trolley Open tournament, right? There's a lot of cash on the line, and being able to put up wins here today in the night shift is laying your mark on that first place prize, laying your mark as one of the best teams in the region. And you know, I think there's a bit of mental advantage to play for here today.
Yeah, I mean,
now
also,
the
like,
challenge. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I just want to point out, remember, Rocker was the guy that came into Hydronation and allowed them to, or helped them beat the Baroness Hotel a couple of weeks ago, right, and break that streak. So, guy is literally like success in a bottle, just add water.
Here we go. Rocker and friends ready to take on their opponents. The NA players taking an extra minute to get into the lobby as always, which gives us a little extra time to discuss draft. So, Uber, NA, don't do what EU does. What have they shown you that they're valuing? What are you expecting to see here as Melee Creeps? They have the honor of banning first.
I think we should write off the last game's draft, because I think the Unks, while laning wise, mechanics wise, can absolutely keep up and made that game interesting. I think when it comes to like a raw draft, that's a really huge advantage. But once again, Melee Creeps are going to opening ban the Shiv.
Fighting the Kelvin
Curious
ban,
one for me. Yeah, maybe
they must have just been bodied in a scrim or something by Shiv.
Shiv is legitimately very good right now. Maybe it's like a Victor protector. It makes Victor, if you get Victor, like, with no Shiv, right? Because Victor loves to be on low HP. He loves to like kind of like play that limit and kind of outplay you despite being on super low HP. And yet Shiv just executes you and pops you. So maybe that's what they're trying to think of here. If the first pick's not Victor, then I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, obviously, like, you know, it might be one team gets Victor, one team gets Kelvin here. The priority on Pocket is pretty interesting here from Sneaky Goal. I'm just trying to, make sure that is out of the game. So Melee Creeps, okay. They allow potentially, quite a lot to come through here, but nailing the Victor is important. Surely you just give Kelvin now.
Oh boy, 99 lives with another 10 gifted. We are up to 889 on the channel. Thank you very much. Also, I see you, AVG and Goober, asking me to hype you up. You know what? I hyped you up 2 weeks ago. It's Uber's turn. He is wearing his best. Okay. He's got so many great shirts, but this is his best.
This is my
finest drobe we have seen on esports. So Uber, go ahead. Gas up the boy AVG, who may or may not pull out a Mirage.
I mean, AVG's the go. I mean, he wins a night shift after getting a new mouse, you know what I mean? And we all thought he was washed, but turns out, bro, that new hardware makes a big difference. Goober's also like Jason Kaplan's favorite duo partner. I'm going to quote him on that one. So that speaks very highly, I think. You know, look for Goober to cause some problems out there. You know what I'm saying? This outfit, terrifying. Very powerful team.
And speaking of powerful, like Kelvin Paradox, I mean, Victor is strong. Don't get me wrong. Like, that's a great front line, but Sneaky Golem are going to have a ton of control of the team fight, right? Paradox for the swap to kind of start things off on the right foot, and then Kelvin to deny things and push people away. Victor, I will say, is probably one of the best heroes in the game at actually fighting into the Kelvin Dome and maybe occasionally coming out on top. So I think this one's shaping up to look very, very interesting here already.
Yeah.
I believe Kelvin has a 100% win rate on the show tonight.
Yes,
and he was banned 7 out of 7 last week since he got his buffs.
Yeah, very true. Victor is literally 100% win rate in night shift full stop, though. He is 5-0 right now, whereas Kelvin is 9-5. So yeah, I mean, if you have to choose between one of those, I can see why Melee Creeps prioritize the Victor, but he's someone who wants the fight to come to him, Puckett. Sneaky Golem obviously have the initiation tools here. Curious to see how Melee Creeps wants to, like, what the premise is for them sort of securing favorable engagements.
The cat lady's been pretty good tonight too. And Infernus gets through here from North America. Those were insta bans when EU was playing, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, I think the pick prio looks great for melee creeps. For Sneaky Golem, top 2 look amazing. And the Viscous is just the full respect on Goober's capabilities here on this character, right? He's kind of like, I feel like the one player at top level Deadlock still grinding the Viscous, but making it look insane still. After a lot of the nerfs to laning stage, some of that damage pressure in the early game has been taken down a notch. Goober's still making it look incredibly effective, still snowballing these early games. He's been building Majestic Leap, kind of showing up in all these fights in crazy ways. Like this one, you just gotta love to see Goober getting the Viscous. I mean, come on, this is why we tune in here on the Night Shift.
I think Mo and Krill might get priored here a little bit for melee creeps. They don't have anything to really like catch and lock down here. With Holiday banned and Paradox being picked up by Sneaky Golem, you do probably want something to like allow you to benefit from good positioning and roams. What?
Oh my God. I'm scrolling up in the chat and I can't
100 gifted,
chat, baby. Noalius just ripped it in with 100, baby.
Dude, let's go. That is crazy.
I'm doing Deadlock.
Hype it up, baby. Hype it up in the chat. Noalius with 100 gifted. Big stacks, big spender, big step
Big stacks.
That's crazy.
Dang.
That is insane.
Last week we had 100 gifted. We had up to 136 gifted, I believe, by Enjoy. Now we've got 100 coming in from Nolis. Thank you to the Deadlock community. You guys have been insane. Back into this draft, though. Mo and Krill coming in the 4th round. It's going to be matched by a Bebop on the other side. Bebop went round 2 last game, Jake.
Yeah, Bebop. You know, one of the interesting things about this melee creeps draft, though, yeah, especially with the Mo, I like the call on the Mo. I think it would have been maybe a threatening pick to grab, but now Sneaky Golem have like a ton of that early game roaming power. I do feel like Sneaky Golem are running a lineup so far that really wants to play together. Like they don't have too much like solo individual playmaking. Kind of surprised to see no Mina drafted yet. That could be the type of hero that Sneaky Golem kind of want to add to up the mobility threat in the roster and maybe be able to kind of show up on more of these fights, but they also need maybe some late game carry. And I think Ivy's going to try and be both. We don't see as much gun carry Ivy, but I think likely it's either gun carry Ivy or gun carry Kelvin this game. I think Ivy's probably more likely. And in fairness, Ivy does give that global presence, letting her show up to some.
Where's the NA doorman? Where is the NA doorman, Jake?
Yeah,
I would not mind a gun doorman here. No gunman. No cut. Gunman looks kind of sick here. They go Mirage, which actually is maybe
that's AVG's. That's AVG's Mirage. You can have it.
And I mean, Ivy Mirage carry combo, very scary. Both of these heroes have like global presence ultimates that let them show up into team fights very quickly after showing on side lanes. I mean, that's something that you're not going to be able to really keep up with on melee creeps. They're going to need to hit and run and find these quick picks.
Is the change in... Oh, there it is. I was wondering if NA had also sniffed out that Paige is legitimately quite good now. She was a nightmare to last hit with. Like, it's not... Even with high velocity rounds, like, you could not hit those orbs. It's just impossible. But they've increased her base projectile speed now by like 18%. You don't have to necessarily buy high velocity rounds. And obviously, she's had a duration increase, I think, on her shield, which is also quite nice. There's tweaks all over her kit, but... You know, EU definitely was feeling like she's kind of good right now, and it's good to see melee creeps pick it up. Good team fighter.
Guys, we're on 991 subs. I mean, this is incredible.
92
Fire support, 992 on the night. Big stuff here from the Night Shift community. Really appreciate you guys as we're going to get into this first game here of our NA money match here, brought to you by Intel. And, you know, honestly, I like the Paige. I think Paige, super early laning dominance, terrifying. Like, I wonder who's the lane here. Is it like Paige Calico or something? I'm just imagining, like, if you just hard run at the enemy team on Calico getting Paige shields, like, what do they do, man?
Yeah.
We're going to dive into that in a moment. Jake, as the official CFO here on Project Night Shift, can you give us an update? Who in this lobby have you written the most checks to?
That's a good question. It's got to be Hydration. Hydration has to have cashed the most checks of anybody here in Deadlock. Bro has been winning tournaments since the game dropped, since we've been running events. So, I mean, Hydration, he's kind of the OG. Okay, Hydra Nation may have fallen, but he rises again here. The Sneaky Golem called and he rose. He responded. He answered that red phone there. Or would it be like a gray stony phone for?
Yeah, it would be like a stone phone. Yeah, or like a cup of string. You know what I mean? I don't know, like what they kind of got.
Like a prehistoric phone.
Yeah, or just signal fires. You know what I mean? Like light one of your own.
Yeah. Smoke signals, babies. Here we go. Sneak Golem. Melee creeps. Who you got your money on? Put it in the prediction chat right now. It seems that we are split 49.2K to 49.1K. Melee Creeps, can you cause the upset? It's time to find out on the mic in Super Shouts with Jake Big Brains.
I'm here for this. Melee Creeps obviously have a comp that, well, it doesn't have a lot of pick potential outside of the Bebop, right? And it feels like that was, you know, obviously it's a pick they love to go for. The gun build, of course, with John always goes hard. It's always my go-to build when I'm playing that. But outside of that, right, this team fights so well. It is insane how good they are in like a small locale. So they're probably going to pull up on objectives and basically dare Sneaky Golem to come at them.
By the way, guys, I'm hearing, and I think this is true, apparently YouTube is down right now. Not the stream, YouTube. So I don't know what's going on. That is insane. Probably the biggest website on the internet, period.
Damn, bro,
can't load any videos.
That's crazy.
How much money a second do you think Google loses from YouTube?
Oh my God, dude.
Literally a second. Like $1 million? I'm no capping. Like maybe more than that.
Dude, how would you bring you? That is crazy to bring YouTube down. I don't know how you could actually.
You want to welcome all of YouTube.com over to twitch.tv/Deadlock Night Shift.
Come through. Water's warm. We're welcoming all comers here.
All the comers.
Dope, obviously, to, you know, see our YouTube community start to grow as well. So thank you for joining us over there. You can also replay back on the egregious things that Chris Puckett says and clip them. So that's kind of the
don't clip them.
The upside.
Dude, I haven't signed my contract for the new gig yet. Don't clip them.
Don't clip them.
The Streisand effect's about to kick in, my guy. Don't you worry about that. Pain Battery already gives AVG a bit of a tickle. This is a challenging lane, I'm sure, but the Kelvin sustain is going to help a lot with this incidental poke damage that comes in.
It's a hydration Kelvin. So, I mean, hydration has always been that guy who's willing to play whatever the team needs. Looks like it's a lane. Oh, they're double lane swap. They're both lane swapping. Melee Creeps. So who's trying to dodge who? I mean, I don't know if I see that. They're like, oh, bro, weren't you guys just in the side lane? Like, what's up? What are you guys doing here?
I see. Stinky Golem have some decent lanes here, but look at this. Straight away, that page lane starting to come forward. Sire on the page, so definitely something to keep an eye on. I think a captivating read skilled into pretty early. Being able to lock someone down inside of that, you can get a slow, and if they are, of course, in the area, they get immobilized and take a bit of damage. That's pretty powerful. Kutsu Bomb here got nerfed slightly recently, but still pretty effective for that area damage. John here, of course, benefiting from the shield. Just rocker a punch and have him slide out of that captivating read. You've got to be on your toes against this page lane.
And Bebop Page is pretty annoying, right? Like, Bebop's just going to be able to full send it on you, looking for those bomb connections, looking for those hooks. And normally you pressure Bebop out of the lane, right? You spam him down. He takes a lot of damage. But with the Page shields, it just doesn't seem like an option. So heavy commitment here onto John. I like this investment early. Bebop's a hero that can kind of take those early leads and really get out of control quick.
And 2 points, remember, in that ability gives fire rate increase, sort of stand and fight. So it's a pretty nice buff to give over to someone who obviously is already speccing in that way. Anyway, and there's Rocker getting brought down. Oh, yes. This Page Bebop lane is looking pretty darn scary. Nice hook off the flop there for John. And now a little bit of free Guardian damage.
And
we hit 1,000.
1K subs. Boom.
Yo, let's go.
Spiceri, thank you for the prime, baby. 1,000 subs. It's a great moment. I think one to celebrate here. Just the 10th episode of Night Shift, and hopefully we're looking back on this fondly at 100, as it looks like Scout Victor, no ultimate online just yet, and that Kelvin Paradox, that lane has a lot of damage pressure, more than you would think.
Absolutely, yeah, it can absolutely come out of nowhere, and it's pretty hard to escape when you get slowed up by the carbine hit, and there's the Aurora beam that also makes it hard. There's just a lot of stuff to throw at you once those cooldowns come back around. So now, of course, his left side start to apply some pressure. We got a great matchup here. We've got, strong lanes on both sides. Obviously, that IAV lane has been copying a little bit on the Sneaky Golem side, but finding success here on the left. Look at the push-up, though, from Melee Creeps on the right. This Abrams and I think Infernus lane is definitely putting a bit of pressure down on, honestly, the Mirage Viscous matchup, which I can't really recall how I would expect that to sort of go. But it is Sneaky Golem getting shoved back a little there.
I mean, there was a time when Viscous was just like the king of early laning pressure, but now I don't know if that's necessarily the case. A really aggressive dive in, but just gets absolutely stomped back here. Now Kelvin's re-aggressing with the help of the Paradox. Victor taking a lot of pressure, kind of going in for this. Pain Battery goes wide. And this is potentially more kills here on this side lane. Kelvin, fearless aggression.
Yeah, Scout taking a bit more damage than he bargained for. He needs the jumpstart regen to really kick in here, but look how healthy hydration is. Bro is absolutely chilling. Scout does well to get back over the barrier, and hydration takes a decent chunk of damage. 200 odd from the Guardian there just to try and chase that elimination. So considering Scout doesn't have that ultimate quite yet, it's about to come online. That was one of the best windows that Hydration and Co could have exploited.
The combo under tower here on the vulnerable backline, right? Paige wants to bait that aggression, doesn't want to soak it herself, but ultimate for now keeps her alive. Now she's giving herself the barrier and turning around, bringing this fight to the Mo and Krill.
All right, them slow-moving projectiles still hit hard enough here. Paige obviously looking to throw down on this lane. Rally and charge got used there, of course, so crucially that heal and spirit damage being applied goes a long way. League being chased down. John able to parry off that Guardian because very, very deep to try and find that elimination. It doesn't come, and now you've got to be concerned about zipline boosts coming back through. League sticking around just to try and take some of the heat off this Guardian.
And Ivy stays to hold this one, but it has to surely go back to the base. And I mean, I thought they had Paige dead to rights there, comboed under tower. It looks like a misstep from Saya, but it seems like he read the limit perfectly there, just baits that engage, and it looks like a real profit now for John.
Of course, that Quicksilver reload on a lot of heroes represents a nice laning power spike, so something you've got to keep an eye out for. Rocket going to be able to increase that DPS pretty drastically, and of course, you see those projectiles. Yeah, that is why Paige can struggle sometimes to secure those.
Sucks at last hitting. It is so easy to deny her.
Bro, they increase it. It was worse. I mean, before the increase, it was impossible. This is not possible. Like, bots would actually like
you gotta
deny
load the trebuchet, bro, to hit those last hits. You gotta get the man working.
No, you had to literally send a strongly worded letter to your opponent to actually get those souls. Like, it took a heck of a long time to obtain them. Here's the burrow. Hook did come in from the bebop. See big damage reduction there as Rocker is submerged, but he takes more damage underground than he used to, at least. Combo going to be thrown in on John, but the follow-up isn't quite there. It looks like League was present. Not enough damage off the Ivy to secure much there. It's not, I guess, a bursty lane particularly here for Sneaky Golem. Oh, I like that. Yeah. Very cute.
Uppercutting bomb, get the stacks, get some damage down. Barrier forced out from Paige, though, and I mean, being able to wait that one out is always nice. Here, Kelvin doming swap as well, fighting inside the dome, man. 2-on-2, just impossible. Focusing down the Calico first, and now they're going to be able to take that shocking reanimation out from Victor. And there's even a thought they might go for more here. Yeah, if you can maybe catch this. Okay, good moves from Scout to slip away from that one.
Yeah, has obviously knows the carbine is ticking down, so he's able to slide out of the way. It's been a little tough to catch the Victor, but that is that ultimate sort of drawn out of him, which is a pretty big deal. In this lane, of course, Saya does not quite have that rally in charge available. Very powerful. And it actually, obviously, has cross-map potential, but I've yet to sort of see consistent cross-map intervention off the back of that ultimate, because I think people have been saying they'd like to see the size of the nice increase as they sort of travel across the map to make it easy to hit those. But yeah, it's a real trick shot.
Bro, you're going to shoot it from like your fountain, and it's just the entire map when it gets to the enemy fountain. Guys, in 10 seconds, they're all going to be stunned. Just be ready, everybody.
Okay, maybe not. Maybe not that
like
big,
nice, like it's like a nice benefit that it goes across the map, but realistically, you're generally using it in like, medium to close range. Look at this advanced tech waiting for the sinners to spawn there, ready for that melee.
Yeah, these guys are really locked in for this stuff. Rocker trying to get away from the bomb, of course. Many of those been appended so far. Here's a rally in charge that comes through. Rocker certainly under the gun right now. Sire also down there, just weaving those spectral swords in, and eventually, yeah, the Mo and Krill is going to be neutralized. That might leave the Sinner here, yeah, open. This would be an easy pick up for John now, uncontested to take this in the camps alongside of it.
I mean, John and DMB are getting extremely farmed this game, and Scout as well, despite that lane seeming kind of tough here against the Paradox Kelvin, also getting the farm he's looking for. So, I mean, melee creeps, the trades are actually going, I think, the way they would want them to, but Goober shutting down DMB, that's a big kill to find this early.
I think Lord was trying to save him, came in, but went to charge both targets and, well, didn't hit either of them.
Charging a Viscous, good luck, bro. You need it.
And I think it was like a double jump as well there from the Mo and Krill of Rocket just to get away from it. So Lord now can really only look on. Affected by the cold front as a lot of damage is going to come in on towards that tower. Mirage being eyed up here, but 3 players in the lane for Sneaky Golem. It's a nice little rotate, and that will be the first Guardian on this side of the map taken. Obviously, Mid Guardian is down for Sneaky Golem, but they've done well there to equalize.
Ivy getting pressured. Wants to get these doubles off early, for League. To build into some of these key items. Like, this is a big decision for him, right? It's gonna be like, what, 4.2, 4.3 after this. Maybe like, does he go test the bullets, or does he go for more of like an early fighting item?
Pretty, a lot of incentive here into spending through these souls. Of course, your unsecured souls can be used on purchases, so always a reason to drop by the store and take advantage of that. With the Guardian down here in this lane, League is going to be holding the bag a little longer.
He won't. I hope he doesn't, actually. That would be bad.
That would be devastating. Yeah, we're heading out. We're going to buy.
I got a little story, Mitch. One time I was playing Deadlock like 6 months ago, and I was playing against this Yamato who was actually aimbotting. And as I see Urn contest, no, Paige she's backing off. She's not no smoking this. And I was like, why is Yamato not buying a single item? No item spent. And then she bought Glass Cannon at 6,400 souls and toggled the aimbot on, and the game got hard.
Oh, that is brutal stuff. Urn here. Picked up by the Pages. A lot of fighting going on down here now as the Frozen Shelter is deployed. Return of Shadows will have some burst damage, though. AVG's got to respect it. Can't quite jump away. Gloom Bomb's also connecting now. It's Fishcake looking to get as much damage done as humanly possible. It's Rocker falling first. Melee creeps look advantage in this fight, and now look how low AVG is. Trying to peer in from the edges of this engagement, and a desperate bit of healing there coming from Hydration. Not enough to really keep them in the game. AVG ends up going down. Melee creeps blues Lord and M. There's more to be had here. Rokane a little bit low. Cold Front going to be used yet again. Cube here on Rokane to keep them in the fight a little bit longer. They're going to pop out, though, under extreme scrutiny. But Hydration's doing a lot of work here. Disrupting, slowing Fishcake down, and amidst all of this, Saya crosses the map, gets an Urn turn in.
I mean, that Urn turn in, I think, is going to be what decides the fight, really. It's a super chaotic trade here. But as the dust settles, I think it's the Urn that makes all the difference, right? It's that 3K soul gap that opens up with melee creeps in the advantage. So Sneaky Golem, I mean, they brought a lot of numbers to it. They deployed a lot of ultimates, but in the end, the macro game there being played a little bit better by the creeps.
And I mean, that's the Spirit Snatch pick up here. So, of course, representing a power spike on the Calico. As that damage is triggered by the flank, the leaping slash, whatever we want to call it. And yeah, just getting around the map pretty easily here as the Calico. Melee creeps with a comp, like we mentioned, looks like it's less geared to roam and find picks across the map. Still doing very well in the wider macro game. The Urn turn-in is big. They have a successful fight. Those Guardians here are getting chopped down. And only one left for Sneaky Golem on that right side of the map. So far, for Sapphire side, things are going smoothly.
Yeah, it's definitely the start you want. Scout gets the Torment Pulse. It's a nice power spike. It's going to make team fighting into him that significant amount harder with the counter pressure you can put down. Big commitment here onto the Mirage. You really want to take him down, but he still has that Tornado so far outplaying. Hydration helping tank some of this pressure. Rokane standing tall, try to fight this one out, but yeah, it's a scary one though, right? Like there's always that chance you could just get deleted. Hydration doesn't want to waste that shelter just for heals at this phase of the game.
No Frost Grenade charges left. There's also a healing right that got to be thrown onto the Mirage basically straight away. Scout definitely wants to fight, of course, with this Torment Pulse power spike. Wants to make use of it in the next minute or so after the fact, but there's going to be a fight that is avoided by AVG. Very low and caught out ultimately by Lord NM. Big pick off here. That's, again, melee creeps continuing to express their sort of dominance across the map. Not so many, I know Sinner's ready to work for right now, so it definitely is about that lane pressure. Keeping some of these smaller cams gobbled up. Not a lot of priority on the map just yet, though, so you'll see a little bit of back and forth as these teams jockey for an advantage in a pick fight.
I gotta say, bro, where is DMB? I have not seen DMB one time on my screen. Infernus is a classic Infernus gameplay. Bro is gonna show up in a couple minutes. He just started farming, let's be real. He hasn't even bought the Tesla yet.
No, he's, yeah, again, none of those tier 3s being picked up quite yet. Obviously, you know, a couple of relevant ones in there. Healbane being a pretty important part of his kit. Duration extender, of course, matters a whole lot.
This is the carry 1v1.
Always scary.
Jumping in front of the creeps for this whole last hit at 13 minutes, one-on-one in the side lane.
A little bit of a bag as well, just quietly. All right, Lord and M caught out there. First time Sneaky Golem actually get a good start at one of these fights, and they are grouped up on this left side of the map. And they've got to be eyeing off that Guardian. Only 2 players here for melee creeps, though. Looks like it is the Bebop and the Victor, so not a lot of fighting to be done. Hyper Beam, of course, will be thrown out. What pressure can really be gained from this? Now, John is sort of just hovering over a downed Guardian. Found some damage, wants to push the wave up with the last vestiges of that ability, but ultimately a successful stack up of players on the left side for Sneaky Golem.
Yeah, you know, not only grabbing that Guardian, but also getting the Bebop Laser out. That's, I think, cooldown pretty low on the ultimate. So for John's perspective, it's like, you know, whatever, throw it out, put some damage down, maybe, you know, clear the creep wave, make it a little bit more awkward.
There's that cultist value. Thank you, John.
Yeah, eat a large creep on the enemy side of the map as well. A little pro tip for y'all. You can If you can steal one on the enemy side of the map, it's even better than eating one.
Is the bonus the same, regardless of what? Because I've seen players sometimes eat smaller minions just because there's nothing big nearby because they want the buff, right?
You do get a lot more souls from eating the biggest creeps. Okay. Early game, you really want to eat the big creeps, once they spawn after 8 minutes. But later on in the game, sometimes it's like, look, you want the buff. It becomes pretty significant fire rate, range and HP. So at some point in the game, you just care about the buff and you want to be able to be strong for the team fight. Don't greed for that extra couple hundred souls. But early game, eat that big creep, man. That's a lot of souls. And honestly, early game, you can't even kill a big creep. So it's the only way you're going to be able to take it down.
Yeah, and some heroes can't even really handle them later on in the game as well. It's not really built for it. Okay, Concussive Combustion definitely connects on AVG there. Looks like a paradoxical swap, but Lord and M has turned up into this fight. And there's not a lot for AVG to do outside of stand amongst the lava and burn down. Rocker comes a little bit late to the fight. Here comes a seismic slam. And of course, a frozen shelter activated here by hydration, but damage has already been done. A big charge backwards there. Rocker in a bit of a dangerous spot. Are they going to try and get out of there via the teleporter? There's no chance for Sneaky Golem. They're completely out-positioned and coming in ones and twos.
Melee creeps just smoked them there, even down under the frozen shelter. Counter pressure from Ivy, though. It's going to net a walker for now. Can Ivy fly her way out of this? I don't think so, so it is going to cost her his life. Goober finds John, turning that trade back, but I think melee creeps are going to be pretty happy about this. That's a pretty significant soul lead. It costs them a walker, but they're going to grab Goober as well, and a bit of a power play now on the map that they get to use.
Guaranteed earn turn in off the back of that. So at least some consolation, right? A better fight for melee creeps. They lose walker. They pick up earn. That's fine. They do have a good push here on this right side, which might relieve pressure elsewhere on the map. As you can see, the Paradox and the Mirage already moving that way to try and rectify and shove it back on. So the positioning here looks like mostly just picking up these camps on the left side of the map. But do expect here melee creeps to start thinking about a legitimate walker challenge.
Kind of a sick divine barrier super early into the game there for Paige. So Saya is going to be able to save people from some potentially scary scenarios. And when you think about the comp they're running, right, a lot of these melee creeps heroes, they're super scary damage-wise. In theory, you could like delete an Infernus and just kind of initiate on with combo, but with the divine barrier in the equation, it feels a little bit less consistent to be able to actually find those kills. So, honestly, I think they were setting up for like a late game where DMB is going to be just like the most monster late game. I think arguably Infernus is one of the highest ultra late game potential characters, and now combined with getting like 1k plus HP off of that, those page shields, that's like a really scary prospect.
Yeah, and look, not to mention the fire rate you get from Page's like actually ability shield and the move speed that Divine Barrier gives. Like there's a ton, like honestly, it's also great to give to Scout, right? You are basically building Page is much more of like a pure support than we sort of see others more supporty builds that have more of the debuff items, right? Think like Oberkim Haze, for example, the Slowing Hex and all these sort of debuff items, but you're very much looking at the buff items on this Page side, really looking to be a true support in this scenario. So Kit definitely lends to it as well with how the Knights amp as they charge the map with that extra healing provider. She kind of does it all in that regard.
And both teams kind of grouping up around mid here. Sneaky Golem looking like they want to get aggro. Combo was found, I believe, onto Fishcake. He's absolute 1 HP there. Gets the barrier, but now back up to like 1,000. Okay, game-changing barrier. Big save there from the Page. I don't think melee creeps want the re-engage, but surviving the combo is a nice little win for them.
I mean, Sneaky Golem here are kind of in position. They probably want to take a fight and work their walker down, and DMB appears to have just been caught out of position. This is melee creeps looking a little bit discombobulated in terms of grouping up. Remember, they're the comp that wants the fight to come to them, so essentially they are getting what they want from this, but losing DMB means the Sneaky Golem have a good feeling about this mid-boss, and melee creeps are converging on this location, but it may not be quick enough. They'll have a token attempt at it, but they'll be without their Infernus. Here comes a Hyper Beam, I think, coming in, but the wall is going to block that off for the most part. There's fighting over the rejuve now to be had. Into the middle of it goes Lord and M. Big stun up, but Sneaky Golem able to get all 3 of those rejuve credits, and melee creeps now realizing they might be in over their heads.
They've got to just get back out of this one, but some players I think are just in too deep. They're just trying to get some of these crystals down, but for now, Sneaky Golem, they're all relatively healthy. They're out fighting this one, and that's a pretty big swing back against them melee creeps. I mean, DMB fighting off, I think, more than the team could chew, right? They just saved Fishcake. They had backed out of that play, and then Infernus was just all in on the fight. Maybe he thought he saw an angle to turn, but the rest of the creeps were off sync, and that not only cost them the mid-boss, all 3 crystals, and a pretty tough spot as far as the lanes are concerned. So, I mean, that's a big win for Sneaky Golem, really re-seizing the advantage in this game.
I mean, melee creeps just comp, like, they sort of need to be reactive somewhat, right? They don't always get to dictate the terms of engagement with the way their comp is unless they find a bebop hook. So positioning feels like it's much more important for them, and their game plan is much more reliant on having a good setup around an objective. But Sneaky Golem kind of beat them to the punch, and they can't really line things up the way they would like to. So that soul lead's about to be ameliorated pretty quickly. The Sneaky Golem, of course, with Rejuve credits, would love to roam the map, look for picks, try and snowball advantages, steal more of that farm away. So melee creeps have to be on guard. Sneaky Golem, you know, it's scaled down pretty low now, but obviously behind in souls will, you know, get a little bit more bang for their buck in clearing these objectives until they're even.
Healing tempo online for Calvin. That's very early healing tempo, I think, for hydration. Big power spike now. I mean, we're going to see League on 25k souls. He is going to be absolutely deadly getting that healing tempo buff. Like, this Ivy is going to be kind of a freak. I think Ivy also bought Leech. So melee creeps are facing down a few minutes where it's like, can you really fight? And you have the soul lead right now, so that's a terrible feeling.
I think they are hoping to fight around the landing pad for this urn by the looks of things. Definitely milling about. And if not, also they can sort of apply some walker pressure. It's still 2 walkers to 2. So in terms of the wider objectives, it's not the worst for melee creeps after losing that engagement. But the statistical buffs that you get, of course, off Rejuve is pretty important. Now it looks like Sneaky Golem want to try and exert this power play. Sorry, Frozen Shelter gets thrown down elsewhere on the map. So Hydration getting his team ready with a preemptive one now. Shoulder Charge going to interrupt the combo. Rocker forced to descend for the time being. Captivate and Reed also looked like it locked him down, or at least slowed him up at the very least, as Fishcake is looking for Goober. Big damage on the Viscous now. Melee creeps definitely on the back foot. Sneaky Golem might look to force the issue with Scout. Might have that ultimate popped here if he's not careful.
Yeah, melee creeps. I think they're thinking better about maybe, do they really want to defend this Walker? I mean, it's going to be expensive. Look at League pouncing all the way in behind the Walker. Says, hey, you want to make a defense, you're going to have to come through me first. And then we're going to see some of the Ivy's farm here, just cleaving down the Walker there with that heavy objective damage.
That's going to be the Walker. Rocane cleans it up. Sneaky Golem push across the map with Urn and then turn it into a Walker take. Definitely a good use of this Rejuve buff for the time being, but there's even more for the taking on the map. And Goober's already setting up a wave push here in mid to potentially scrutinize that Walker.
Yeah, pushing the mid Walker, I think is a bridge too far. I think that would be a bit of a throw for Sneaky Golem if they really want to force it. Remember, I mean, the soul lead just isn't such that Sneaky Golem can really force things too deep. Like even DMB here, you can attempt on it, but this feels so deep. He just gets 1,000 barrier from Page, by the way. I don't even think he needed, I think he could have stood and fight. He didn't realize how tanky he was with those Page shields.
It's pretty nice though. I mean, you can negate that pick potential that Sneaky Golem have with Page being able to just throw all of these defensive resources down. There's a world with DMB, you know, could have been caught out, picked off again early, which is something the melee creeps don't want. Not even the richest on his team, by the way. It is Scout right now with 25k souls. So farmed up really well. And that's why, like you mentioned, even though Sneaky Golem have an implied soul advantage, you know, I guess like this Rejuve buff has a soul value. It's only up. I mean, it's expired now, right? It was only a short time. And now things feel like they're back to a bit more of an even playing field.
Yeah, the mid boss, I think, brought Sneaky Golem back into this game when they were, you know, a few K souls behind. Melee creeps, though, I do think they scale maybe a little bit better when we're talking ultra late. You know, I think that's where this global value for Mirage and Ivy, I feel like, is less significant when you're talking ultra late game, when you just have every character has insane move speed and ability to cross the map and ridiculous burst DPS. Capacitor online for DMB, that's going to mean Cube is no longer a reliable save. You just purge that Cube right off with the Capacitor and then instantly finish off a target. So getting a little bit more scary for Sneaky Golem now to work these side angles, especially with John and DMB on the case.
God forbid they sort of line up in a straight 6v6 with melee creeps. That feels like a scary prospect considering the Calico, the Victor, so many of these heroes that just love to be surrounded and in the thick of things with the backup of Sire. I mean, yeah, obviously Infernus very much wants to be in the center of the action. So real brawly comp here for melee creeps, and one that feels like it scales pretty terrifyingly, provided they can get the kinds of engagements they're looking to set up. And most of those happen around objectives. You've got to give Sneaky Golem a reason to bring the game to you, so to speak. Right now, we see most of these camps being ransacked. Buffs up in a minute. That might give these teams a reason to throw down. But for now, there's a bit of jockeying back and forth.
Yeah, no one wants to be the team to make a mistake. They both realize that the game essentially even right here. Melee creeps a little bit behind, but only 8k souls. And it's melee creeps who are kind of controlling the map right now, right? Like they're the team split apart farming. I mean, not that there's really any farm left for Sneaky Golem side. But I'm curious to see if Sneaky Golem won't take this moment of downtime as an opportunity to maybe look for a combo here on the side lane. I mean, this is the way you want to play as a Mo Crow, right? In these moments, look for that combo catch onto Lord and M. It looks like they're on top of him for now.
Yeah, they'd surely have found Lord and M. This could be dangerous now. He's trying to get away. And there's that pick potential. Sneaky Golem start to work the map a little bit more. Now they can spread out. Maybe look for further opportunities to take these fights, but it's a very reasonable application of paradoxical swap. And they've, of course, still got combo at the ready. If there's another unsuspecting player to walk up into them. Veil Walker, of course, a match made in heaven for this paradox. No longer do we have 5-6 people buying it, but it's still very, very good in its niche. John here. That is pretty good damage. I'm not going to lie. Filthy stuff on Rocker, of course, as that capacitor is assisting the fire rate and give you a nasty active like you mentioned earlier.
Mo's just giving him a stern look there from across the rooftop, just saying, hey, Step, get back. This is my rooftop. A big combo catch onto Paige in a really compromised position, and that's the worst case scenario for Melee Creeps, getting their save caught.
Again, another player getting caught out. That's what this Copper Sneaky Golem is really trying to do a lot of the time, but now they can at least fight with their team fighter. Scouts in the middle of things. Hasn't had that ultimate drawn out just yet. DMB has gone down. Sneaky Golem doing pretty well fighting on their own feet now. Rokane can get set up in a good spot to do damage, and this healing tempo from Hydration has been massive. Almost all of those charges of grenades used amongst the fight. The sustain and the tankiness from Sneaky Golem is paying dividends. Their scout getting knocked, finally brought down. That's 4 players down from LA Creeps, and now it's Sneaky Golem. We'll head for another mid-boss look.
And Lord and M thinking about trying to go for a walker during this moment to punish, but Rokane read this play. He's coming in to try and make this defense on Mirage. Lord and M 1v1ing, I think, the Mirage here on the side, and then just going all in for that walker cleanup. So Lord and M is going to find that, but a death here on Abrams would be very costly, right? Like that provides a big opportunity to just siege the base, not only with the crystal, but with the +1. And this is a big chase down. If he can slip out, I'm not sure he will be able to, but the 8 stack, 4 stack, it's not. He's running away from Mirage, pretty tough at this phase of the game.
What is this farm on League? Oh my God. Sorry, I just saw that properly. That is disgusting. Almost 40k, 26 minutes into the game. Spiritual Overflow also just picked up there by Rokane, so that's a nice little power spike. But bro, I'm looking at the Ivy. That is going to be a force to be reckoned with in his life. Look at these items, man, bro. Leech picked up, of course, so many tier 4s. Capacitor, Frenzy in the inventory. Yeah, bro, this guy is absolutely beaming him down.
This is scary, man. Not only does he have monster gun damage, but he's not that easy to kill, right? With that Leech turning him into survivability. And this is a big moment. See what he buys with his next 6k. And a crippling. Ooh, this is getting scary. That's 42k Ivy. Where did this come from, man? He's still farming, by the way.
Yeah, 4k HP. You can see full investment on those gun items. So obviously getting an extra 115% weapon damage increase, just in case the rest of the kit wasn't terrifying enough. Taya, not good at all. Caught on the zip, swapped here, and basically blown to smithereens in a matter of seconds.
And that's like the worst pickoff, right? That's the one you rely on to save. I don't think you can really even contest this mid-walker as we're seeing Melee Creeps just holding back in the base. Sneaky Golem kind of gifted an even bigger advantage in this game. And Melee Creeps starting to crumble here. The game was really close for a long time, but suddenly League's pulled out so far ahead. Counter crippling from DMB, who can strike back with a bit of counter damage, but I just don't think you can fight right now.
You mentioned, of course, DMB absent, farming away, a classic Infernus game, but 13k behind League is ridiculous. On board, of course, with the Ivy is who else will we be looking at here? Nice little Stone Idol slam coming straight on down.
My God.
Melee Creeps here, they are obviously getting absolutely rolled over. Hydration with the Frozen Shelter, timing off that is pretty nice. Scout about to get popped once more. Lord of them and DMB definitely seen better days themselves. DMB cannot hang around in the scrutiny of Ivy for any stretch of time. League blows up Scout this time. Shrine's about to go down. Patron about to take a seat in a few moments. Sneaky Golem are terrifying.
This is game, man. You're going to be down Victor and Bebop. I don't see any way Sneaky Golem don't just finish the game right here. They're going to be up 2. They even have a crystal. Everything you need to open up this first game of the series. And Sneaky Golem, statement victory. I mean, mid-game, early game, we're very close. This looked like it was going to go super deep down to the wire. Now the Page ulti, DMB ripping the Infernus ult as well, trying to get this big stun off in the pit, but League's going to come in and just absolutely clean house, still healthy on this Ivy, and the HP bar is not dropping, but the Patron is. Sneaky Golem up 1-0. Disgusting farm on that Ivy.
And you know, the crazy part is, Jake, at the point that we point out how much farm League has, they've only got 3 kills, right? They're obviously, getting a lot of global souls, the earn takes, the macro gameplay was getting really good there for Sneaky Golem. And I feel like they're playing composition that is a bit more classic, right? It's a draft that features securing Paradox and also taking Mo and Krill away, denying Holiday, saying to melee creeps, you guys are going to have to dig pretty deep into the bag of tricks to find ways to pick us out and punish us for bad positioning. Whereas melee creeps, they have a composition that is so good at fighting around those objectives. But if their players are getting picked off and they are 5v6 going into those objectives, they're really going to be fighting an uphill battle. Melee creeps had to have such good, setups in these engagements. Even DMB's getting picked off here and there. It feels just very, very hard to try and get the optimal start to those fights, as powerful as the melee creeps squad was looking.
Yeah, I give it to the draft a bit. I think you're right that what Sneaky Golem cooked up was really effective, but I also feel like there was just some really punishing pickoffs there, like Saya dying first and like 2 pickoffs in a row, just not even really getting the fight. I mean, that I think really is the fundamental weakness of the support page. You cannot be caught. If you get caught, you're just useless. You're paper, you're instantly killed, and you're not able to get basically any skills out into the fight. And so I think that's the challenge of playing support page at this level, is you kind of need to just hide AFK in the back and play in corners and wait till the enemy shows. But
rotate cooldowns like honestly, once or twice.
Yeah, but those are some sloppy deaths from Saya, right? Gets caught in the mid lane. The combo in the mid lane I can understand, but getting knocked off the zip at your base by a Paradox, it's like, oh, that's not supposed to happen, especially when you guys know you're facing down potentially the end of the game there. That's a really painful anticlimactic way to go down. I want to see Saya come back with a mental recovery, but I mean, that's mental damage for sure.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Saya, the kind of player who for me is really the mastermind behind so much of what melee creeps have done and are doing. And I like the pick in terms of empowering one of those incredible team fighting heroes to just be even more potent. But geez, it is tough. Bro, League, dude, humble sticking around at like 30 HP because of the farm. Bro is so locked in. The guy is like really making sure that he can get to that late stage of the game and be a real factor. Even here, 12 minutes, 13k souls, just absolutely popping off. Hydration does a great job. We talk about how flexible this guy is. Kind of just does what needs to be done in any situation. Be on the Mo and Krill, he'll be on the Abrams. It doesn't really matter what it is. And there are a couple situations where, okay, here AVG gets caught in some weird spots. He's roaming the map. He's trying to work a lot of these camps. He's looking for openings. And melee creeps had these sort of windows. But 2 mid bosses go over to Sneaky Golem in the end. They get League Omega fed. We haven't even touched on the fact that Rokane is very free in a lot of these fights to sit back and just vomit damage into the mix. It's just a really solid classic comp that has, great role coverage, I want to say. And against these powerful new age Deadlock heroes from melee creeps, the Zuma comp, if you want to call it that, they still show dominance.
And, at times, the melee creep strat looked really good, right? Some of these big saves coming in from Page, kind of turning around some of these engagements, creating a pretty significant soul lead. But then a couple fights go bad. Sneaky Golem get the team fight they're looking for. And this was really the backbreaker, right? Getting that full rejuve flame and a team wipe at the same time. And Hydration hard rushing the healing tempo is pretty crazy when you think about it, right? With Mirage really benefiting from that attack speed and fire rate increase. And same for League, right? 2 heroes that really want to just be burning out that damage, but this is pain. Dude, this is pain.
I love Fishcake just lazily throwing a couple gloom bombs. We're like, all right, I'm done. I'm good. That's my contribution.
You're like, nah, bro. Chalk it up. No, ain't nobody saving you. I mean, and that's the thing. Page, another hero gets caught like that, and Page might actually be able to save them and turn a fight. But when it's Page who's caught, you're just done, right? Like, that's just cannot happen.
I mean, the build here is, I don't want to overlook also the Berserker being a pretty ridiculous component of this build. Bullet resist Shredder, of course, making its way into the build at tier 2. Kind of, 3 to 4k health on an Ivy and just doing an insane amount of damage. Really nicely done. 29 minutes, 44k souls, really impressive. Curious to see what the source of those are if we get that on the breakdown later. But just great fundamentals from Sneaky Golem. A comp that, is really targeted to deny a lot of the things that they themselves are trying to leverage in order to win the game, and just great individual play across the board. I think melee creeps be, like you mentioned, it's a bit of psychic damage. I'd be pretty shell shocked after that game because their understanding of where to be and how to take advantage of waves crashing and how to trade objectives, get walkers even if they have an unfavorable fight across the map, keeps them in these games. But there's only so many mistakes I think you're allowed to make against a team like Sneaky Golem.
Yeah, they had their chances and they just couldn't get enough out of them. And meanwhile, those openings were just brutal, right? When we saw the way Sneaky Golem takes advantage of them and, wastes no time really in immediately pushing the issue, forcing more team fights. I mean, it didn't always go their way. And I think ultimately with Melee Creeps, the experience on this team, I don't expect them to be too tilted from this. It's like, you can look at this game as like, okay, look, we made some individual mistakes. We got caught off in bad spots. We didn't get the game where we wanted, but strategically, I don't know that the draft was bad. I don't know that you were in an unwinnable scenario. There were multiple spots in this game where you had the lead. So you can hang. Laning wise, honestly, I think Melee Creeps look great coming off the lanes, right? They look pretty solid, especially even the Paige, I think was maybe at her best in the laning phase. DMB and John got pretty farmed in the early game. But then at some point, right, like those pickoffs, losing those, it's all about those crucial fights, right? The early fights are nice. They put you in a good spot. But if you can't capitalize on the mid boss, it feels like you're not going to be able to win the game at this level of play.
Yep, 100%. You've really got to make a whole lot happen with that. You can see here, like just the souls by source for League. That's how you get to 44k souls, where most of your farm is coming off those neutrals. So big farm prio, give it over to League. Rocane, I guess in more secondary sense. Rocane also pays that investment back with some pretty sick player damage. So really solid stuff. You can see that little trough where Melee Creeps coming off lanes, like you mentioned, looked like they were in decent shape. But towards the end of the game, Sneaky Golem able to isolate those individuals, find these favorable engagements, get that mid boss take later on, and sort of run away with it. Very, very nicely done. And I want to see these elements, make their way into the draft here for Melee Creeps, but maybe they just need to be careful not to have too many of those key initiators sniped away from them. And maybe there's a risk here going with this kind of composition where the Page is ideally trying to soup someone up. If Scout can't get where he needs to be, or DMB, conversely, you are going to find yourselves in a pretty tough spot. I mean, AVG, we thought like they were getting caught out a whole bunch. Only 5 deaths, really, so it's still top in the lobby, but that's kind of the other side of the paradox coin, right? You're going around working those objectives, finding angles to play from, and sometimes you just get got.
Yeah, swap also puts you in a pretty bad position, right? If you snatch the enemy away, sometimes that's the price you pay on the paradox, and especially given the Melee Creeps draft, right? With a lot of frontline fighting heroes that you do have to navigate. I think that's just, as you said, the cost of doing business there with the Mo and with the paradox. But they did their job, right? They did their job. They found their openings, and then when it came time to push the base, the siege engine was ready, man. The siege engine had been assembled in the factory by League, and at some point he just shows up and says, no, player damage? No, that's for the weak. I'm here for the objectives. I'm here for the patron, here to complete the ritual.
And I'm here for the game 3, Jake, but I don't know if we're going to get it after that one. A pretty competitive early game, kind of snowballed out of control. Sneaky Golem take our first game here in our money match, $1,000 on the line in North America, thanks to our friends at Intel. Night Shift Deadlock will be back after a short break with game 2 of our money match.
All right, I think I figured out what went wrong. You let Kelvin into the game, but now we're going to figure out how to keep him out of the game and take this to a game 3, right, Jake?
Look, I agreed with you in the draft. I was like, why would they let Kelvin through? Why, I sort of disagree with their thesis about the game, but then seeing the Victor, I think that's the idea, right? You let the Kelvin through, you let him have all these big frontliners healing up, and Victor just still out-sustains them all. You just cannot overwhelm that front line. I think, honestly, it was just down to some of the execution. So I don't want to see Melee Creeps be too shaken on their convictions. I kind of want to see them show that they can hang that, because I think this strat, it could have worked, right?
If they had Mo and Krill, I think they look better in that game. It gets taken away from them. I think like just something a bit more than just like
any grab, right? That's what they're missing, right? It's just that additional hero to kind of pick people away from the Kelvin. But I mean, with Kelvin and Viscous, it's not easy to do that, even if you do get a pick hero. Yeah. Sort of the benefit of drafting, especially the Viscous in particular, that's such a comfort one for Goober.
Can you get rid of Goober and Kelvin? It's time to find out. We got the draft ready. Melee Creeps trying to take us to a game 3.
Isn't it, really?
If you ban Goober's Viscous, you're
ban Viscous.
You can't.
He's been banned.
I mean, but in the first 3, it's such a bad first ban.
Banning Viscous is crazy.
We're just gonna play Bebop or something. Like it's not a good ban.
Turret McGinnis with Trophy Collector, baby.
Goober is just next level on the Viscous. He's like 70% of himself on any other character.
No, he's nasty on the Bebop.
Is it true, Goober?
I've seen that.
You're in the chat right now. We're just trying to get in your head before this game, so NA can continue on. We're already over 1,000 subscribers over on Twitch.tv. Thank you to everyone over on YouTube.com/@Deadlock Night Shift. Episode 10 has been phenomenal, but it's also been one-sided. I want to see some fight. Let's go with the distance. Let's get a 38-minute game here, Melee Creeps.
We got it last week. These guys gave it to us. I think Melee Creeps absolutely can. It's the kind of game that, okay, ends pretty quickly, I guess. How long was it? A 28-minute game. So not even the worst. It wasn't even that one-sided. It just, it snowballed towards the end. So that's the recency bias. These Melee Creeps team are legit, man. They can definitely hang. So we can get to 3.
All right. You have to take Kelvin. You just must. If you don't take Kelvin, you give Shiv Kelvin, I'm like, there's no way, right? When those two are online, I can understand beating the Kelvin. Maybe the Victor draft can work. Right? But actually, now Melee Creeps, like, if they want to go Shiv, Victor, pockets off the field, Affliction is one of the best tools in the entire game to deal with Shiv or Victor.
So does Holiday get prioed here, at least in the second round, maybe?
Okay, I think it's Shiv Victor. This is a monster opener. I really like this from Melee Creeps. I think Kelvin is good, but so are Shiv and Victor, and trying to stay alive against these heroes are, like, they're pretty insane. I wonder how they'll kind of build around them heal-wise, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, can you just stack like anti-heal and still punish this kind of setup, right? Like heal banes for everybody.
It is good. I mean, you will Sneaky Golem will be buying a lot of at least 1 or 2 heal banes minimum, to keep those applied on Shiv and Victor. The problem is that that's sort of like, that's par for the course with these characters. Like at this level of play, everyone knows you're gonna be playing. Yeah, I just have 30% less healing than normal because you have heal bane. But when the debuff removers come out, or I wonder if Melee Creeps won't go another page here because something like a Divine Barrier, taking off those heal banes, and some of the lockdowns you might otherwise be putting. I like the Infernus pick from Sneaky Golem because Infernus, there's just no one in the game really can deal with the punishing fire that Infernus just continues to put out on you, long into a team fight. Even Shiv and Victor can't tolerate that.
This second wave of bans for me is super interesting because that's where a lot of our pick comes from, like our Holidays, our Mo and Krill, our Bebops and stuff like that. For me is going to be pretty definitive. These first couple of picks kind of, go without saying, maybe a little set in stone to some degree, but neither team yet really has like hard engage initiation potential quite yet. It's just a terrifying frontline for Melee Creeps and Sneaky Golem.
I wouldn't mind the Mo.
Game potential.
Yeah. Wouldn't mind the Mo at all right here. If they go with the Holiday though, okay.
Yeah.
I think you're right to see this go pretty proud. I mean, Holiday fell off a cliff for a while, but I do think she's a little underrated right now. Like at the end of the day, she does her job well. She's not like also a hyper carry at the same time where she was completely broken before. But pretty sick initiator, can kind of pull people to really dangerous areas. And even with the cube save, right, with people buying capacitor a lot these days, it's not as reliable as it once was.
You got Goober on his best hero. You got Infernus and Kelvin. I feel like Sneaky Golem is winning the draft so far. How do you complete this trio?
Well, you find like decent roam like potential, right? Maybe you want to chunk your front line up a little bit, like Abrams is still floating around. You see Yamato's taken out. You also might want to turn like some of these lanes into really oppressive ones, right? Kelvin plus like a lot of heroes that like sustain is like really annoying to try and play into. So I like the Yamato. The Yamato's heads off. It also obviously shrugs off a lot of those debuffs, Shadow Transformation, and the resistances it offers her is really good. But dude, like I mentioned, in lane she's just so annoying. The right click, power slash from long range, fire rate reduction or crimson slash and slow. It's very, very good. So yeah, Monko Holiday. Like I like this Melee Creeps draft, man. Like it's got a sick front line, and now you have some agency in terms of how you start engagements.
I think Sneaky Golem should steal away Ivy right now. I think Melee Creeps absolutely must take a gun carry that builds capacitor to this game. And there are a few, but like Mirage does not want to build capacitor.
They're starting to disappear a bit, yeah.
That's what I mean. With Wraith, I think the Wraith ban is actually really smart from Sneaky Golem. I think that would have been, it's one of the ideal capacitor rushing carries that can kind of deal with these cubes and can follow up and even set up for Mo and Holiday to get their initial single target burst that they were kind of lacking.
It's not good on Haze, right? Because there's no fire rate increase.
Yeah,
like
and Haze actually is carry, I think, is pretty bad right now.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to get the Ivy now. So I almost wish Sneaky Golem would have stolen the Ivy away because I really think I'm not seeing another really good capacitor builder. Like Infernus, Wraith, and Ivy are really the big three in my head. Maybe I'm missing something, but
Jake, Truby is saying Melee Creeps really choreographed their plan. Now Sneaky Golems is going to get decay and counter the crap out of them. Is it that easy?
All right, I will tell for the folks at home, Decay is not good against Victor.
It ain't good.
You just press your second skill maxed out is a debuff remover, so you just take it off immediately with your second skill, right? Once it's maxed. You need the sources of anti-heal that don't go away on Victor. Infernus is deceptively really amazing because his burn also reduces outgoing spirit damage when it's leveled. So it kind of, it slows down Victor's outgoing damage as well as it's, burning him down. You just have to constantly reapply those sources of anti-heal. So Healbane is good, but like, what's the 6400 Spirit one? Spirit Burn? Yeah, Spirit Burn's not so good. Anything that that's like a longer cooldown that you can cleanse off as Victor, or even Shiv with like E-Shift, you can kind of like deal with those big bursts of anti-heal. You just need that consistency from Healbane and maybe like an inhibitor at some point in the game, although don't see that item built so much anymore.
This is such
Zergy was able to take an MVP on Lady Geist. Ivy hasn't had any success. Kelvin has won 100% of the games he's been involved in and wasn't allowed to play in week 9 with 7 out of 7 first round bans. I feel like Golem's game to lose, but how do melee creeps win with this comp? What do you like about it? What do we hate? What are we seeing?
Yeah, I like that Jake points out that there's a great capacitor home on Ivy, right? Shutting down Cube is really good. Lady Geist obviously can be pretty terrifying. You can make your Soul Siphon very powerful. Like Healing Tempo is a great item on her. She definitely is like a spell slinger carrier later in the game. So you've got really nice scaling on this melee creep squad. You're really freaking hard to kill. Holy shit, bro. Try to kill Geist, Victor, and Shiv. Just forget about it, bro. This is very, very challenging. Sneaky Golem have scaling potential through the Infernus and great sustain. Cube for healing. Kelvin and Lane is also going to be quite annoying. A heck of a lot is going to ride on this Mirage. Just having the safety of the position to pump that damage out, and Calico obviously to get in there and disrupt.
I think melee creeps have dramatically upped the playmaking potential in the draft this time, right? With Mo and Holiday, they're going to be able to set the tone, I think, a lot more often in these fights. With Victor and Shiv as well, it's not going to be so easy, I think, for Kelvin to just drop the dome, for Abrams and Calico to start the fight. Shiv and Victor can kind of take those initiations and then turn things around. And there isn't that hard single target lockdown nearly as much on Sneaky Golem's side this time. It's like kind of the Abrams pin, and there's not, what else is there really as far as like the single target lockdown obliteration. I kind of agree with you. I think some of these unkillable cores from melee creeps are going to be a problem. And I think when we get to the late game, provided they can execute cleanly this time, I kind of like this melee creep strap. I think they might even have found the answer potentially to dealing with the Kelvin.
Give me a fish cake, Shiv. It's time to party. Sneaky Golems up 1-0 against melee creeps. Can they seal the deal with the 2-0? Or are we going to a game 3? $1,000 on the line. Thanks to our friends at Intel. On the mic, it's Uber and Jake. Take it away, Uber.
Did we get Sire on the holiday? Oh, hell yeah, dude. Dude, I fanboy over this guy's builds. I'm not going to lie. You're curious to see what he's able to do on it, but man, I feel like no one works a map like this guy on the holiday. And you mentioned she doesn't turn into a hyper carry, but there's some nice gun items you can build on her. Warp Stone, Kinetic Dash, get around the map, of course, set up those good lassos. Yeah, I'm feeling that it's going to be a good time. The Shiv, of course, is going to be set up in mid here. Hydration already getting some attention on the left-hand side of the map. You see Lord and M always threatening. Big damage there dealt by both of those laners. John also terrifying on the Geist.
Vegas in the chat saying, GG, Sneaky Golem won with the genius draft. I'm curious to see if he's right. Curious why. I mean, I do think Sneaky Golem have bread and butter, everything you would want in a draft. And I think as much as I kind of like the vision for melee creeps, I see what they're going for. Playing around this Victor Shiv, you can Kelvin dome me, I'm still going to beat you in those trades. Kind of a mindset that we've seen that fail, right? We've seen that fail quite a lot. We've seen a lot of people think they can go toe-to-toe and dance with the Kelvin, but an early kill is a nice way to start against him.
Dude, his lane is so troll up in the left-hand side of the map. My goodness. Lord and M, John, little parry there for AVG. He's able to get back a little bit now. John obviously with a pretty decent amount of sustain. Can siphon that health away, but AVG wants to at least get some Gloom Bomb damage in, and they're a little easy to hit more of them now. But that little tip, you sort of want to aim at the feet, the way that they fly, to stick more of those on your intended target. Keep an eye on AVG here to make use of those in lane to try and relieve some of this pressure.
I'm ready to get my hands dirty.
Calico Kelvin, pretty scary lane. Getting that opening kill onto Hydration is nice, but I feel like those kills this early end up not, maybe they seem stronger than they really are. It's nice, but doesn't necessarily change the game. And with that, I mean, dying, come back at full HP, buys a headshot booster where maybe normally he would have gone for something a little bit more passive and sustain heavy. John not going to have an easy time just recovering HP and really dominating the lane the way he might want to.
Headshot boost for the first take here, of course, for hydration. So definitely wants to try and stave off this pretty annoying Moen Cruel Lady Geist lane. His scout, of course, jumpstart regen. Will keep him nice and topped up in the lane and also making sure he doesn't miss any of those regen creeps. Extra charge picked up, though. So already that spirit investment occurring with extra spirit. The first take here for Scout. That pain battery going to get annoying. Splatter. Puddle punch comes in, knocking Scout off course. This is some serious harassment on the right of the map.
Victor, though, loves to take those trades early. Big parry, though. That's enough to put a little bit of counter damage down, but it's not enough to save John's life. Mo doing what he can, but I mean, in the end, so reliant there on that scorn to really deal damage. You are kind of cooldown dependent in that one, but this Mo, now it's going to be John's turn to come back to the lane at full strength, and Sneaky Golem. I mean, luckily, Calvin team, they're going to be in a much better position to sustain and re-heal through that.
You see, obviously, like with the inherent sustain that Moen Cruel has, you can make this QSR rush happen and it'd be pretty potent when you start to get in some of these fights. 800 item here going to get picked up, though. That Mystic Burst makes sense, so pretty aggressive sort of take on this lane. Sustain items less necessary for sure, especially if melee creeps keep trying to dole the pressure on even after maybe losing out in that previous engagement. League here with the most disgusting farm total I think I've seen in quite some time on Ivy in the previous game. Obviously in mid here on this Infernus. Has got to be pretty wary of this holiday lane, of course, as we're starting to get towards the 3.6k as Ultimate's coming online. League with their mobility, often to get out of trouble. Spirit Lasso would still be a big problem if it came on in. Lord of them goes down. Again, that's that left side lane, rather, still getting quite busy. I'm going to head over there now.
Mystic Shot this early on Infernus is insanely aggressive, given the lane he's playing against. But, I mean, it's going to make it very awkward for Shiv, who normally likes to kind of tank through these lanes and out-trade. But doing that against Mystic Shot won't be easy. Now the ultimate comes in, committing deep onto John, who doesn't quite have his swap available. But, I mean, John gets like one more wave. He's going to have that swap up, and things get a little bit more awkward for ABG.
Yeah, dangerous, of course, to try and fight that Geist when she is at low health. That sort of it goes without saying. And the combo coming online for Lord and M will be pretty scary, but they've been fighting now just in the window before Lord and M's ultimate comes online. Sand thrown, ABG disarmed for a time, but still wants to aggress on towards John. Saw Siphon coming in though. So again, annoyingly that Lady Geist able just to top herself back up in the middle of the fight. John has that soul exchange ready and is low, so that is definitely alarm bells surely for Sneaky Golem.
Not the worst thing to dome passively and just like restore HP in the laning phase, but he would have loved that to be aggressive and actually finding an opener. Now, if John can find a swap here, then you don't really have that key tool to turn around the team fight.
TMB has the Stone Idol pretty much straight away. Coming in from off screen was the Rocker. League flattened. That's in mid. That's your Infernus going down early, but now here it is. The Viscous coming on in. Looks like supply drop needs to be used to get the Ivy on out of there. This is Goober backing away from that early pressure. Sneaky Golem getting some nice Guardian damage. Rocker cubed up there. Just make sure the Abrams can back away as now this 2v2 is back on.
And smooth moves there by DMB. That wall jump to get high enough in the air to cast the ultimate so that Goober can't roll over him and cancel it. Still, though, it just keeps him alive. Doesn't really turn around the lane meaningfully. Big burst onto John, though. And yeah, Calico is a kind of a problem. This is a rough matchup for Geist, which she's low. She's playing for those swaps. I mean, that's exactly the type of kill that the Calico has an easy time finding.
Scout's ult just got popped as well in a situation where he wasn't able to make use of it at all. Sneaky Golem here finding some windows. And look, with Return to Shadows having a 1 minute cooldown, AVG can repeat that game plan a lot. The melee lifesteal means the leaping slash also has a regenerative aspect to it. It's really annoying to deal with that Calico. He's very tanky and has high sustain. Can really punish you for like, even the slightest mispositioning.
Goober Splatter just stole that entire camp from the Ivy. Oh, that's beautiful Viscous gameplay right there. Love to see it. Love to see it.
DMB obviously with a battle vest and so their monster rounds to try and push this lane back away. Kudzi Bomb also to help in that same regard. And catching on a scout, pretty bloody nice, but Victor tends to take his fair share of damage and doesn't really complain about it too much.
I mean, they're pushing down an Ivy Victor lane. That's insane, right? Like Abrams Viscous, this is a strong lane, but I mean, this should be a lane that it's just, I don't know how you're ever supposed to be able to take their Guardian early on in the game. Cube force out of Goober, maybe caught a little bit over aggressive, as Ivy should be able to get this chase down.
Nice couple melees, knocking the cube.
Yeah, biting off more than they can chew. Abrams should have some more CDs in a second. You got to be a little bit cautious on this one, DMB.
Now still watches covered on the course for a little bit of health regain here. Still hanging tight in this particular lane. I like the little knock of Goober's cube in under the Guardian to make sure there was some sort of free damage there. And John, of course, he's doing the thing, folks. Soul Exchange at the ready. Was very low, hoping for a push up there for Sneaky Golem that, well, never really came.
I mean, when AVG gets ultimate, he's just going to pop him, though. Like, this is kind of a scary lane to be in. Calico in particular. She just has such a great tool to deal with you where you can't swap her. You can't really sustain through that.
Yeah. Now, burst damage obviously is huge against Lady Geist at this stage of the game. Being untargetable by that Soul Exchange during Return to Shadows is pretty sick. Okay, big pressure on that right side. That is the Guardian now falling. Some action here over the Sinners that they just spawned in and already. There's an engagement over them. There's no way Lord of Them's getting out of this one. Hydration has made sure of it. That's the catch on the Mo and Cruel. Sire left in the wake of this, knocked up by the tornado. Rokane turning up to get involved in the fight. And Sire has to beat a hasty retreat, but escape from here on out seems virtually impossible. Cold front news, but Sire snapped up, and that's a 2-for-0 pickup here. Surely a Guardian take, but there's even more to be found. Somehow, John gets into the fight, at least gets a kill back, and it is healthy enough that there's no threat of loss of life here for the Geist.
Yeah, and does still have the swap, so it's going to be enough to hold the Guardian at least for a few moments more, but beautiful TP in there from Rokane. Gets a couple cleanup kills, gets active early, and is now defending, getting a bit more solo farm. Seems like the Guardian is going to be going down against him, but the punish is good. Calico in on top of the Mo Krill, and going to be able to potentially burn him out. Yeah, they do find him. I wonder... Can John play his way out of this one? I mean, chasing Geist down these corridors, not usually the wisest decision. Oh, and he got the 4th stack on him, though. It's actually close. One more stack. I think it's too low level to actually pop him at this point, but...
Yeah, not enough there. 124 off that detonation. Still, scary moment there. Great moves from John to get out of trouble. 7k souls, though, in this game. And League also has spiked precipitously in terms of souls. I think a couple of those Sinners definitely must have gone over towards the Infernus. Getting out to 9.1k. A pretty comfortable spot just to take stock of things, right? There's 2 Guardians lost by melee creeps. Just the one picked up there by on the Sneaky Golem side. Melee creeps got themselves one, on that left side lane. And they're still positioned here, trying to snowball that pickup of the Guardian into some of these camp takes.
Melee creeps looking to get active, right? Looking to activate some of this pick-off potential. They need to start finding some kills to turn this game around. A big buy coming off, though, for AVG, and he actually wants this fight. He's looking to get into some action.
Spirit Snatch is pretty sick.
Juked by Fishcake failing his movement. Or was that a next level mind game from Fishcake to just drop off?
All intentional. Don't worry about it. Fishcake taking AVG by surprise there in terms of the pathing. There's still a Sinner to be taken here comfortably enough by the Calico on board with Scout now. This is towards the mid-right side of the map. Everybody just sort of dispersing now. Those Sinners need to be sort of picked up, and there's an own run underway. Lord and M heading across the map. There's a high concentration of Sneaky Golem players to that mid-right side jungle.
They've given DMB the solo lane here with a Guardian up to defend, so he's going to be able to get very farmed on this Ivy. But fighting all the way across the map, even the Ideal, it's going to take a long time to reach that, so it's going to be a relatively lower numbers engagement. Lasso from Saya somewhere? Did they get any connection with that? Seems like not.
It's unclear. Looks like, yeah, no hit. Of course, Traveler at the ready for Rokane. There needs to be some reinforcement. So this urn will just be danced with for a time. A box run being worked into the schedule here by Lord M, making use of every second that he is out on the map.
Just holding the urn, just chilling, taking some extra damage from it. But trying to drop it against, I assume, a max punch from Viscous is pretty unlikely. And you are starting to tick down from this, so the pressure is on melee creeps to make something happen here.
Yeah, just holding that urn for a little bit too long. Okay, here's Rokane pulling up. It's an urn dropped here by Lord of M, so it's going to be a proper fight here. Rokane more than happy to start it off. Fire Scarabs at the ready. Obviously, Healbane a must-have for this Mirage. It looks like urn will be taken back in that spawn direction. A tick damage over a while definitely makes you feel like you've got to make a move with it. Here comes DMB, though, looking to work down these objectives already. Tesla bullets have been built. Active reload also. Nice little helper.
Let me know if you need me to
good macro here for melee creeps, right? That TP out of Rokane gets no value, forces him away, and a bit of walker pressure is able to come in for the IB, who then backs off. And that's kind of bought them time to refarm and recover some of the soul advantage that's starting to build against them. Still a 5k lead. It's not nothing at this phase of the game. Still, one team fight is pretty much the margin here. Melee creeps, if they can get a couple of those pickoffs, if Saya can find one of those signature lassos, then this very much comes right back into an even game.
Puddle Punch attempted there. Sire at risk of being caught. Feel like melee creeps were looking for a Spirit Lasso in the previous fight. Sire just now has that coming back off cooldown. And obviously, the urn still of concern. That is once again heading across the map. This time, though, in the hands of Hydration.
Yeah, and Calvin, I mean, this should be a free dunk. Unless melee creeps, if they fight this, man, this should be really wild. Abraham's ulti over the top, making it awkward. Hydration thinking about the dump, goes for the parry instead. But with the Kelvin Dawn over the top, can you fight into this?
I think this is the fight that Sneaky Golem were hoping for. Hydration says, thank you for coming to party. This is what we were looking for. Stun though off of that Victor ultimate. By the looks of things, Scout having to go down there, but Sire's now been picked off and went down with that Spirit Lasso at the ready. Not what melee creeps surely were looking for. Hydration traded for 2. It's Sire and Scout down on the melee creep side of things. The Fish Cake gets eaten up. Tanky as Shiv is, Rokane is able to put him down. And this will be Sneaky Golem only extending that lead further.
Yeah, getting the urn, getting the lion's share of the kills. DMB not able to come to that fight because League is threatening to take down his Guardian. And Furnace didn't even have to show up to this play, who's arguably the strongest character on Sneaky Golem. That being said, once Ivy, continues to farm up, that's what you're kind of hoping for with this comp here for melee creeps. But losing that team fight is going to bite. It's going to widen that gap and make it more difficult for Ivy to come in and actually win a team fight. Like if you show up to a losing fight at this point in the game on Ivy, it might be genuinely GG. It might be, you might find the game really rough to play out from there. So he's got to pick his time wisely. Selective. And yeah, exactly. That rotation in is kind of like your last gasp here for melee creeps. When Ivy shows up, should be a big moment. But if he gets caught in the side lane, not by Infernus, not like this.
Surely up. Surely up. Sire has the stone idle this one, but right, yeah, he's caught. No escape there for DMB, rather. Rocket traded out for Fish Cake, though, elsewhere. Guardian take, though, of course, is the obvious pickup. Then, yeah, something's brewing in towards the middle of the map here. I can see AVG heading across there very quickly. Yeah, looking to get involved in the fight now. Fish Cake, of course, wary of that return to shadows, but Scout can't really avoid it. He's going to get taken down and does not have that ultimate available. Frozen in place. Scout is picked up by the Calico, and now in numbers, Sneaky Golem are eyeing off the mid boss.
Man, the ability to just turn up to these plays. Rokane TPing in this time. Hits pay dirt. 2 quick kills right over top of the mid. Lanes are awkward for them. Rocker's got to push out that mid, but I mean, do you even want to contest this? It looks like melee creeps are going to go and maybe try and get a Guardian on one side, a Walker on the other, which will be some nice prizes, right? Like if they're able to claim that Guardian, which I think they will. And there's 4 players securing the mid, so.
Oh, he's going to try and interrupt this. Nice rotation there for AVG. Veil Walker also helping him get there just a little bit faster. There is reinforcements here. DMB is about to get Goomba stopped.
Oh, big parry.
Nicely done. That's going to stop AVG in his tracks. Rocket, though, still able to chase the Ivy down. That is another death here for DMB. And Sneaky Golem get mid-boss without losing that left side Walker. I think that ends up being a trade then just for Guardian that they're going to take any day of the week. Goovy here gets a bag dropped. Lord and M is down. Puddle Punch disrupting Fish Cake, but the Shiv is far enough away to slip out.
The Walker just popped DMB. Like DMB had a sick parry and the Walker said no, bro. It just denied him hardcore. That's the most farm hero. I said this is the moment for melee creeps. Their last best chance. That was Ivy's team fight. Not looking so good. 2 rough deaths in a row for him, and now he's kind of right back in pace with the rest of the team. Sneaky Golem, 3 rejuves. See how they want to deploy this. Some fancy footwork from Fish Cake. Would love to take away some of those crystals, but Goober is a very hard target.
Yeah, just cubes himself and gets on with his life. AVG is really strong right now. We saw what he was able to do, recovering that Walker take, and now, well, Sneaky Golem extract their pound of flesh by taking that right side Walker down. There's a bit of consternation over that own area, though. Scout goes low, but does, of course, have that revival active. It's just going to be respected. It's just so easy to play around, and now he does not have a backup. No contingency left for the Victor. Scout tries to hide away, and he will be chased by League. Going to make it hard to sustain through the tick damage that Victor imposes on himself. Talk about a bag. League now, of course, still with the concussive combustion up his sleeve, can make it work. Urn dropped here in a good location, and Sneaky Golem are about to get everything. Urn, Walker, you name it. 3 players down for melee creeps, so this is falling apart.
It's going from bad to worse here, Midge. You got Rokane and League behind the enemy Walker. They're not letting melee creeps even retreat back to their base. A little zip grab from John is going to pull him out of trouble, but out of the frying pan into the fire. I mean, the rest of Sneaky Golem splitting, clearing the map, going to steal a bit of enemy jungle here on their way out.
The bonus here for melee creeps is when they lost mid-boss, they were able to shove that left wave. So it's just not pushing in Sneaky Golem's direction. If that creep wave is up by that left side Walker, it is an easy take, but they are going to be denied. However, a chance here to take some of these sinners, and this is League, of course, who was very farm-focused in the previous game, will continue to only get stronger. Of course, already made his way towards that capacitor. will be the analog, of course, on the other side to DMB. And it's getting those very important gun carry items picked up. And also about almost 6k on him. So you can start thinking about the next powerful item to spec into as we munch through these creep camps.
Wouldn't mind seeing like a leech or a frenzy here, because this Infernus is already looking problematically tanky, and that's not even thinking about the potential for Goober and Hydration to save him and power him up, let him go to the next level. Goober, meanwhile, Majestic Leap, Silence. We gotta be a little bit careful, DMB. The silence is good, but oh, the cube is beautiful by Goober. Reads the play.
That's nicely done. DMB's trying to abuse the power spike from Siphon Bullets picked up instead of Capacitor, so not rushing in that item direction. And DMB needs to be shooting to get that health back, and that's not happening right now. Stone Idol under the walker to try and get out alive, and DMB does get out of the engagement. Lord and M, though, not nearly as lucky, and Goober is relentless. Chases the Ivy down, gets that bag drop, and finally, the wave is pushing in the right direction for them to snack on this walker.
And Goober just stacking up these kills.
MVP.
The chase downs are clean. There's a very strong argument for it right now, man. That cube on the combo was just disgusting.
Would be nice to have a caster, I think.
Scout. I mean, he's getting the walker, but they're losing the base.
More, though.
I mean, they're losing the base right now. It's just not a good trade. This is Sneaky Golem pushing for the finish, man. They are pushing for the GG right now.
What do you think about the Siphon Bullets pick up at tier 4 instead of the Capacitor rush from DMB, Jake? Is it a big difference maker? There's a cube that obviously causes them problems. No, I'll check back in with that Ada. Hold on. Frozen Shoulders big.
In.
And a lot of those melee items getting put to good work. It's nice to be the Torment Pulse player with the enemy all inside the dome with you. That seems pretty powerful.
That was beautiful from Hydration. Big value there. With that Rejuve expiring, the Patron drop probably is going to be all she wrote. I'd expect to see a fallback here. John on 1 HP needs to find a swap to be able to play his way out of this one, but Goober's trying to hunt him down. Meanwhile, Midwalker hasn't even gone down yet. So, I mean, this just shows the state of the game. Sneaky Golem are in full control. Dropping Patron without doing Midwalker is pretty crazy.
You got a bunch of camps. You've got buffs up in 30 seconds, so you got every reason, of course, to back away, maybe make some purchases here. Brocane, Toxic Bullets here, of course, made their way into the inventory. Debuff remover going to be there. It's going to be important that he can continue just pumping damage into so many of these fights. This is a 33k soul lead at 19 minutes. Nobody would... this is not what was described on the tin. I'm not going to lie. Sneaky Golem, man. Shout out to Vegas, by the way. Called the genius comp, as he put it, even though we were kind of loving the melee creep setup here, but Sneaky Golem have looked unbelievable.
I thought it could work, and it just from the lanes onward, man, it has been a full beatdown. Hidden from Abrams, tries to grab somebody out. Saya just can't quite escape out of this one. Throws a silence as a parting gift, but even the Victor just doesn't really have the tankiness. Already popped out of the ultimate. Hydration just moments away from having... Where does health go? You just get deleted from like half on Victor. Okay.
Oh, nice Goober. Fish cake is not going anywhere, bro. Dude, he's getting oiled up. Goober, nicely done there. This Walker, of course, going to be scrutinized down as an earn on the field. Sneaky Golem are snowballing this advantage, and melee creeps continuing to trickle in the ones and twos. Part of punch, they catch you on the DMB. Fish cake had already gone down. It's only 2 players on the field for melee creeps, and this, folks, is chalked. 35k soul lead for Sneaky Golem with mid-boss just around the corner. Well, the potential to end the game right here and now. Silence Wave catching on the DMB, and Goober is really laying it on thick.
And these Majestic Leaps, I've become a believer, bro. I gotta learn this build, man. I gotta resurrect my Viscous. Goober's showing a whole nation of gamers how to get it done. And it's now going to be an offensive earn turn in if you want to go for it. I mean, melee creeps are going to throw down everything. That being said, they're down some very key ultimates. No guy swap, no Victor ult. They're in no shape to fight. And yet, if you give up this earn, it just does feel like the game has already slipped away.
This build is kind of sick. Hunter's Aura, fair enough. Express Shot alongside the Majestic Leap is super based. Okay, you see the silence waves everywhere across the map right now as AVG is on the hunt. Who the intended target, though, is supposed to be, we'll find out. Silence Wave caught on to John, and the chase is on. The Lady Geist having to dodge the Gloom Bombs here, but this is still scary. Soul Exchange on cooldown, by the way, not an option for John, so can't even emanate any degree of threat. It's all S-key all the time.
Split push being applied by the melee creeps. They're making this one as difficult to end as they possibly can, forcing players from Sneaky Golem to fall back and defend waves where they're not able to really participate in the fight. Candle's kind of an awkward spot there, but it looks like not going to be an issue for Sneaky Golem as they just go double down here on the mid-boss. They're going to force the roar and try and bait it into a fight. And somebody showed up. Wrong neighborhood, bud.
Yeah, Saya obviously trying to make something happen there, and now off the back back of this, Sneaky Golem can chase the rest of melee creeps down. John caught up inside the tornado. Fire Scarab's getting flung out here. Fishcake is at least able to find one. Rokane does get caught there, but eventually it's at the cost of that Shiver. Bro, ABG just constantly on 4 legs, just getting around the map at super speed with that Veil Walker. Sneaky Golem snatch up 4 eliminations here, and they're looking for more, of course. To be a chance to blow this game even further open than it already is, which is honestly saying something, because this feels pretty chalked.
Mo's all in, trying to clear this wave. That's the only thing he can do at this spot, right? Is push that wave out so that you don't have, creeps pushing in. But, Sneaky Golem, they're not in a rush. They're just going to take this mid boss. They know this essentially seals the game for them.
And there's not a darn thing really melee creeps can do about it. Lord on M can try, hope for something. Doesn't really have any mass CC. No ability to really disrupt this rejuve take. And obviously Sire is on his way here, but it's a question of what they're trying to make happen. In they go. Puddle Punch, of course, going to be knocking Lord on him up. Picked off. Sire's going to have a crack at it. Gets one of those rejuve buffs. Now, of course, with subsequent mid-bosses only giving 3 stacks, not 4. That is meaningful. But Sire, of course, is going to burn through the revival instantly.
I mean, you got to remember, Patrons dropped, right? This is almost assuredly the end of the game. Sneaky Golem have a 6-4 power play, arguably an 8-4 power play. As look at this absolute fearlessness from League. He is going to full send into the base. There's going to be no S key from Infernus for the rest of the game.
And no reason to fear, that's for sure. Sneaky Golem are so far ahead. It's a matter of course now. I mean, I think they spotted DMB behind them.
I mean,
okay,
melee creeps are throwing every single trick in the book to add Sneaky Golem to try and slow this game down. But that big fresh wave of creeps coming in, the fast zip coming in, and Rocker.
Oh my god. That's rough. But on him trying to delay as well, apparently. Traveler being
got to get a second wave in. Somebody get a second wave in. But I mean, the kills are just snowballing.
Pushing left side, I think, but he wanted to fight, so I respect it.
Pack it up, guys. His ABGs calling his shots, calling it out.
I mean, bro, these two, ABG and Goober, they wanted to shout at the start of the game, bro. I did not waste my breath on that.
I will say, if Sneaky Golem want to end, they should just get a second wave in and they'll be fine. But it doesn't look like they need it. They're on to the Patron now, putting that heavy pressure down. And melee creeps, they delayed all they can. They've thrown everything in the book. And Lord and pause. Little manner pause to type a noob. That's crazy when you're losing 2-0.
I mean, Rocker kind of called him out. He's like, bro's going to BM me. Let it happen. That's crazy. All right. Brutal stuff. Melee creeps taken to task in 2 straight games. Sneaky Golem once more will be held aloft as your champions in NA. Recipients of $1,000 thanks to our friends at Intel. That was a pretty bloody decisive game.
Man, Goober's made me believe. I'm picking up the Viscous again. I'm gonna.
You guys thought I was joking when I said that they should ban out the Goo Man.
You're right. I was doubting. I was saying no way, but you can't give this man the goo.
Yeah, sorry.
I've watched a lot of NA. He may have the stickiest goo of all the goobers.
Honestly, MVP performance. That is wall-to-wall goo. I'm very, very impressed with what he was able to put out for us, man. Seriously, like, some of these catches, that cube, of course, earlier on to save against that Ivy pressure was really sick. Just some really clutch moments. Also little things, like stealing the farm with that splatter, really sort of goo balling that lane in their advantage, I think is something well worth hanging your hat on. Bro had impact across the map.
I mean, against
Calico seemed to be a great character tonight as well. We had highlights from a whole bunch of people. Let's start with the melee creeps. Was it ever on their side tonight, Jake?
There were moments in game 1, right? Genuinely, game 1 was quite close, but it ends not with a bang, but with a whimper, right? Like a couple of really nasty pickoffs, and then the game's just over. And melee creeps fall flat. They don't really get the fight they're looking for. Game 2, blowout from start to finish. I mean, I thought the draft, the vision, maybe I thought it could come together. There'd be some way to, like get activated at a certain item threshold, but Sneaky Golem just gave them no opportunity to come online. They were just ending this game very early on. I mean, we said what, 30k soul lead at 19 minutes? That's basically GG.
Bro, Rocket
plays like this, they do not fall. Mitch, I wanted to ask you. So Kelvin seems to be like a go-to, locked in, 100% win rate on the night.
Yep.
Why is Calico selected? Why was AVG so impactful in his games?
Dude, it's first of all, in-lane Calico is really powerful. Her ultimate is low cooldown. It makes her invulnerable and does damage around her. So it's pretty easy to combo people by like dashing forward. The leaping slash also procs any like melee effects. Like it assumes that you are meleeing, kind of like puddle punch, right? So that's also really powerful if you build into it. I think like melee lifesteal is sick for the sustain. So you have a ton of burst on your dive in, and then you go into ultimate, making it impossible to target you Lady Geist can't swap with you. Like, there's a lot of effects that are just not useful. And AVG snowballed really heavily out of control. Like, on the build, right? It's like nothing crazy. It's like Torment Pulse gets worked in there, right? Which is amazing if you can stay alive in these fights long. All those souls that AVG built, he just built into be a menace that was really hard to kill and was doing consistent damage with the potential to burst individuals down with some of those melee procs. So Calico is so back, dude. Seriously, her mobility is crazy. Veil Walker was also picked up by AVG. So that speed boost in Ava form means you can cross the map in a matter of seconds. You can be absolutely everywhere. And when you turn up, like, I mean, the guy has 28 assists. He's involved in like every fight that happens on this map. Like, basically he's TPing constantly.
Jake, we're probably going to see these guys on Sunday. I have a feeling Melee Creeps might be in a match against Sneaky Golem with $10,000 on the line. Let's talk a little bit about the rematch. What did you learn in this loss if you're Melee Creeps? Because you're clearly going to go and study this VOD.
Look, don't disrespect the Kelvin, all right? That's what I've learned all day today, all right? Kelvin,
let the red beard go.
You might think you've got some counterplay, but in the end, man, it's just too sick. Like some of those, like Mirage teleporting in while Kelvin's already got you domed. Like some of these plays, so sick from Sneaky Golem. I don't know what you're supposed to do with it. I think at this level of play, Kelvin's ability to like isolate fights and just give you decisive numbers advantages for like 5-10 seconds plus a monstrous amount of heal in the lane. I just don't want to play against it. I want to see these teams take the Kelvin away. Sneaky Golem, it felt like you couldn't even play the game against them when they have that tool online.
Excellent stuff. We're going to have our MVP loaded up here in just a moment. Any predictions, chat? Who did you love watching the highlights? Excuse me. Rokane taking care of business anytime you saw the Mirage in action. League was on a 5 streak multiple times, it felt like, on the evening. And of course, we highlighted what the Goober was bringing. Calico in AVG's hands looks dangerous. Hydration on the Kelvin may be the best support in NA at the moment, or at least the most dangerous. And this is a squad, the super squad, that everyone's arguing who is going to be the best. We gave it to Hydration. Production loved this guy. What did you see in his gameplay, Uber?
I mean, look, the guy is basically playing the strongest hero in the game. Like, it's at this level, like, you can't lose lane. It's not possible. You cannot lose lane.
They killed him off the rip. They got first blood on him. It didn't look like it.
I mean, bro, I'm sorry. Like, Kelvin is too good, too much sustain. Going up against, some situations where maybe you wouldn't expect him to sort of win out here. That should have been a kill there. It just sort of doesn't sort of pan out that way. Obviously, amazing healing. Like, Rokane's getting dove on here, and there's a shelter available, like a couple seconds. Look, hydration slows the game down. Rokane gets enough health to get away. He's just... this hero does too much right now, and hydration is squeezing the most out of that Kelvin. So I'm not surprised. I think that, you want him to have big impact. You demand your Kelvin K to essentially take over the game in the utility aspect. And he's done that now in both games in this series.
Yeah, really solid play across the board from Hydration. And I think you got to give credit to him. Like, not every team in NA can execute these team fights the way the Sneaky Golem do. And a lot of it is on Hydration, not only on the Kelvin play, but also on the comms, right? To be a player who's making some of these big callouts, like setting up the team fights, allowing the rest of Sneaky Golem to really play their games and just get to this ridiculous farm potential. And this fight was particularly beautiful, man. Kelvin comes in, thinks he can like get a cheeky contest off. You don't want to give up your sinners. It's just fresh on the 8 minutes. You got 2 players here, and then you just get team wiped. You got 3 players. You can't even defend your own sinners at 8 minutes. I mean, that's truly insane.
It's like Saya. I don't know what Saya's hoping for there, because obviously he spends a while looking from the outside of the frozen shelter, hoping to pick something up, and you don't want to let them take away your sinner so early in the game. As soon as the 8-minute mark came around, bro, Sneaky Golem just activated, man. So oppressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's, like, it feels like I would do the same thing. There's no way I would allow somebody to take my center at 8 minutes in a lane that you're not losing that bad. Like, it's like an okay situation. You've got roams coming in, and you just get absolutely deleted off the map, man. The Kelvin Dome, way too sick. The TPN from Rokane timed perfectly with that execution. Heads up moves from the whole squad there, and Sneaky Golem kind of cementing their place as top dogs in NA right now. They want the lion's share of that big cash prize for NA coming up in a couple weekends of that trolley tournament.
They are the team to beat coming into the trolley competition. Once again, We have just 2 hours. I think it's 2 hours left to sign up. If you have not done it yet, you get a chance to play against some of NA's best, including the Melee Creeps and Sneaky Golems, assuming you make it that far in the tournament. We have a feeling they'll be there on Championship Sunday, and we want you all to join us. For now, though, Uber, we got to hand out another $1,000 to Sneaky Golems, a well-deserved $1,000. Do you feel they made any mistakes showing their A game tonight, or do you think they have more comps up their sleeves for this tournament?
Bro, they like literally didn't reinvent the wheel. They just played good stuff, right? Viscous, they made sure they had a late gun carry. They got Kelvin when he was available. Like, what are you really showing? Like, this is just like page 1 and 2 of the How to Win a Deadlock book. Like, get Rocaine on a freaking Mirage and you're golden. Yep. So they didn't have to show anything here, man. They're just playing some really solid Deadlock with like very reasonable drafts. Vegas called it genius. To me, it just looked kind of classic, and there's a reason why that stuff works, man.
Jake, thoughts on NA as we close things out here?
I think Goober setting the stage, man. He's setting the standard on Viscous. I think other players got to follow his lead. Like, Viscous still works at this level of play. And if you're not going to contest the pick, like, first banning it, I just think is crazy. I don't think you can do that. Like, that's just letting Kelvin and Victor, these like even bigger problems through. You have to be contesting the pick. They're getting it third every single draft because they know, okay, the second round of bans, you're going to ban the Viscous. So we're going to snap it up third every time. Goober does amazing on it every game, is a key factor for the team's success. It looks like a pick that deserves to go first 3. And I just think other teams, maybe they need to actually contest that. Maybe by learning to play it as well as Goober, which, I mean, far easier said than done. Then maybe you can take that tool away and put Sneaky Golem in a little bit less of a comfortable spot in the draft. But the viscosity out of control this game.
Yeah.
The Sticky Stickness is about to join us live. We've got the Viscous himself, the Goobro. Goobro? There he is. Goober, how we doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. What's up, Bucket?
So I tried to get your favorite character banned, and they didn't do it, and then you punished them. Can you tell me about your pool, though? Because Megs is here every week. She's watching your stream. She's watching your teammates' streams, and she says that you've got like 7 other characters up your sleeves. Who else do you like to play?
I mean, shit, want me to list them out?
Yep.
Bebop, Paradox, Holiday, Viscous, Abrams, Hayes, Lash, Pocket.
Bro's reading the roster. He's just reading the character roster, bro.
As well.
Stop him! Stop him!
Just ban those. Just ban those.
And then finally,
ban them out.
All right.
Good luck banning those out, nerds. Goober, you've got a lot of footage out there, but tonight may be the most impressive. What was it in the matchup against Melee Creeps? You guys finished that game 2 in under 25 minutes.
I mean, honestly, part of I feel like we're really good at punishing people when we are ahead. So when they're playing from behind, they tend to get desperate and look for picks, and we're really, really good at punishing those plays. So just after they started getting desperate, we wrapped it up really quickly because we got a quick 2 picks and insta mid boss, and just games wrapped from there.
What do you think about like the high prio that they have on Victor, right? Because it's kind of, I feel like there's a part of what's allowed you guys to get Kelvin every game in this particular series. Like, what place do you think Victor has in the metagame right now? Do you think he's being overvalued in some cases, or like what do you feel when you sort of see him pick that up so early in the draft?
I think he's being valued perfectly fine. I think he's like S tier top 3 heroes in the game. I'd reckon, honestly.
Okay.
I'm curious about the Viscous build. You got that published on the guide. I'm trying to hop on. I'm trying to get back on the Viscous train. I'm a believer. I'm trying to build the Majestic Leap and just see what's cooking. Do you play it in rank though, or is Viscous still like the destroy your lane and you just can't carry when you're in rank?
No. I play pubs like solely on Viscous Bebop most of the time.
Okay. Respect. Publish the build. We got to get it out there for the people. By the people, I mean me. Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
I'll send you the.
You said it's published. Where can we find it? Let's help these nerds out, because it's not super easy to get into Deadlock. As someone coming over from the Call of Duty universe where there's countless TikToks, I don't have that content. So catch me up. If I'm a noob trying to learn from one of the best, where do I get the Goober tips?
Well, you can come to my stream, first of all. As much as I can, answer as many questions as I can about, especially Viscous in particular. I also have my build posted under the name Goober Leap Viscous because I run Leap in it, if you want to look at it. And that's about it.
Boom.
Yeah, easy to find. Just look it on up. We've obviously got the trolley $10,000 invitation coming up this weekend. How are you feeling about that? Feels like it's a decent reason for everyone to up their game. You guys feeling pretty well positioned to snatch the lion's share of that prize money?
Yeah, I mean, we're the best team in North America. like for sure. I'm fully confident in it, especially after today's performance. Also, fun fact, as like a good luck charm, I hadn't DoorDashed anything before, but I DoorDashed just some trolly like a few days ago. That shit was fucking fire.
Let's go, baby.
This man didn't leave his house and got sour worms brought to him. Next level thinking. Learn from the Goober. He's live streaming once again. He's over on twitch.tv. Goober, hit me with the full address.
Goober70.
Goober70. It's easy stuff. He's in the chat right now. He's got a little diamond next to his name. Goober, we're going to be talking with your friend Hydration on the graveyard shift. Final thoughts from you, though. NA, we're catching up to EU. How far behind are we, or are we better?
I think we need more time, honestly. Like EU's still like a decent amount ahead, but I think our team especially is starting to really catch up. Our goal now is to completely eliminate mistakes. We believe we learned how to play the game the way it's supposed to be played, and we just want to play it perfectly now. And I think today we played it perfectly.
You guys are working on perfection. That is a disgusting goal, and I clap for that. Goober, thanks for joining us here on night shift number 10, where we landed 1,000 subscribers on twitch.tv.
Could have been more.
Could have been more.
It will be more.
We're going to put it up.
We're just getting started.
There will be
this
more.
Is number 10.
Yes, sir.
It's number 10. All right, Goober's going to go pay, or he's going to go take the money that Jake pays him and spend it somewhere that we can't mention on stream. We can mention, though, that you can earn some money coming your way soon. Uber, how do I participate? If I haven't signed up yet, how do I get involved for North American Deadlock competition? The game's still in alpha.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the registration's still open for the trolley tournament, no?
Yeah,
still is.
Like balls right now.
I want 30 minutes? Get your team together right now.
Quick, go.
I mean, we have an insane number of signups. You can also be back here, guys. The next 2 weekends, we're going to be having those big tournaments you can watch on this stream. It's a place to find the content, Twitch, YouTube, whatever. Also, we're back every Wednesday. We're just doing our thing here on the night shift.
Yes, thank you to all of the new members over on youtube.com/@Deadlock Night Shift, everyone on twitch.tv, and of course TikTok. If you're just watching this, you're too late. The show's over. Rewind to the start or catch us live on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there. In the meantime, head on over to our Discord. It's the Graveyard Shift. I'm Chris Puckett. That's Uber. That's Jake. We got a bunch of people behind the scenes, and you saw some prettier faces earlier. We'll kind of catch them all. Yeah, on Saturday. I gotta go to bed. I love you guys. Bye.